you understand why making videos, identifying a person's problem, and then bringing a solution to the table is so critical with your content? You might want to listen to this video and understand why.
In sales and marketing, understanding the problem before identifying what the solution is absolutely critical as it pertains to conversion. Mario and I took a deep dive into this topic specifically. Watch the podcast. All right, so let's go ahead and get started here. Today, I wanted to, this started with you and I kind of having another conversation about how creating content that assists with the sales process, really creating content that is it's helping the sales process. So whether it's something that after you talk to someone, you send them a certain video, or it's something that just tees up the lead to be a better lead. And really kind of, I guess, what have you seen? Because I know you do that a lot with the insurance company as well, where you're creating very specific content to help the education process.
Well, yeah. And, as we all know, it's, you really got to sell the solution, which is teeing up the problem. Right.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing. You're talking about the problem and how you're alleviating their problem.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Isn't that the whole key of sales? And so I think, and whether it's insurance specifically, obviously it's, there's challenges that everybody faces. Usually just confusion is the main problem. Mm-hmm. And selling it, the value of having an advisor.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And being that solution. Do you want 1-800-MARIO or do you want 1-800 call United Healthcare?
Well, and I'm glad that you brought up like identifying the problem, right? Because that's something, and I know we've talked about this before, but something I learned pretty early on was that 80% of decisions in general, right, are made based on avoiding a level of pain, whereas only 20% are made on moving towards something with pleasure. But you see so much marketing, it's just, feature benefit.
Right. Which I'm guilty of just, hey, look at all the stuff I could do for you. Right?
That's the easy stuff because that's the shiny stuff. We like that stuff.
But that doesn't close deals.
No. And, when they start there looking into anything, right? A lot of the time they have more of a latent need at the time, right? And so it's a matter of helping them see how this is a primary need, and that's where you can build urgency. And so it's about more than just educating, right? It's about helping them uncover, the pain or the potential pain that if they don't move forward with whatever solution, whatever you're selling, it doesn't matter.
Right. Right. The widget's a widget.
That's right.
It's still a same sales process. Arguably certain widgets need a different level of supportive content.
Right.
Versus just top of funnel. Hey, look at this cool new lettuce shredder. It's pretty straightforward. Do you have a problem cutting off your, your knuckles from the shredder you have? Use this shredder. You no longer gonna slice up your knuckles. Whatever else. That's pretty straightforward versus, financial concepts, real estate concepts.
Right.
So that's one thing we're kind of really learning. I know that you and I have been walking this path for a while, making all sorts of content. Typically,
all kinds of content.
Majority of it's been mid-funnel content, arguably, right?
Yeah.
And I think we're definitely gravitating and maturing into a lot more of the top funnel stuff. Mm-hmm. But because of all the years of focusing on the mid-funnel, we now actually have good things to drive to for good videos for landing pages.
Yeah.
All right. Good videos, explainer things, or value add pieces for email campaigns to stay in their front of them for nurture campaigns. Mm-hmm. Our website now, every page has typically some sort of video that we've created at some point.
Right.
So there's just such some
better than others.
Some much better than others. But in all reality, even the bad ones anymore, I'm pretty proud of. We've really come a long way. So I'm really looking forward to this next evolution, the evolution of where we're at now, where we can focus on the big time on the top of funnel stuff.
Right.
And teeing up that problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And showing how our team can then also propose a solution.
Right.
And that way, when it does get over to the sales team, they're just talking about focusing. Oh, what was that problem again? Oh, well, you heard about our solution, right?
Yeah. And then it makes it a lot when a lead can, with some level of accuracy, articulate what their problem is, right? And what their pain points are. It makes it a lot easier to tailor a solution and a recommendation as well. And again, this goes for whatever you're selling. Because there's not always just a one size fits all with most businesses, especially any professional services business.
It's amazing how everybody wants us to send over hey, do you have a package?
Yeah.
Well, we've tried that. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
The package that works for me isn't going to work for you.
That's right. That's right.
At least in our business, maybe other businesses that's different, but.
And how many clients have we gotten started with, hey, here's exactly based on what they said they wanted and what we determined, here's what you're going to be doing each month, and how that shifts and evolves over time, right? It's rarely it rarely stays at, all right, here's what we're doing. You know what I mean? It evolves and everything, and and we work with the clients on that, obviously, but you don't know what you don't know until you get into it.
Right. And then all of a sudden, once you go, again, not knowing what you don't know, then all of a sudden you get this new marketing strategist in your corner. Right. All of a sudden they bring in a whole nother level of what you didn't know. So it's just stacking a whole nother set of deliverables, content pieces, whether not always video, but just content's content.
Content's content. Yeah.
Right. That website's got to convert. You get people, you've gone through the trouble to get people to your website. Is it converting?
Oh man.
Right. Is it actually identifying the problem?
Yeah.
Is it talking to the client's problem and then drilling down to here's how we can provide you a solution?
Here's how we fix that.
And even it's been interesting learning from you on that context, right? Of actually not giving dangling the nugget.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And not actually providing the solution right there. Like you better talk to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you want to, I need to understand more about your problem so I can give you a customized solution.
Right. Right. But that's true though. You know what I mean? If you put everything out there, right, then where's the need for them to opt in, for them to pick up the phone and call you, for them to, fill in the blank as far as how you get your leads. But you have to have something out there. And hopefully, again, in any professional services company, hopefully your presence or your salesperson's presence or whoever that is adding some value, whether they decide to buy with you or not, right? And that conversation hopefully will be valuable.
Hopefully. You're either going to close them or get a second call, I guess. Yeah. Or nope, I don't think this is a right fit for me.
Well, but I mean, you and I have also, we're both proponents of if there is a better solution out there than what we can provide, recommending that as a part of an overall solution, right? Hey, let us handle this, but really you need something else over here as well. I can make recommendations, or that's something you can explore on your own. But,
totally. No, not just going after the money is a big deal. But I think that's what creates longevity and keeps the difference between businesses that last and businesses that fail.
Right.
I mean, it's if you're either guiding the clients the right direction or you're not.
Right.
Some people are just in it for the money, and God bless them. They probably make a lot better money than we do. But at the end of the day, we can sleep and we have good clients that stick around. But that's kind of the goal for any company, I would think.
Right.
I don't know. I guess maybe for some of these other guys who are just trying to throw out some nonsense.
I guess it depends on what you're selling. There are some businesses out there where it's a turn and burn model.
Are you trying to tell me that the TikTok videos aren't accurate? They're really making some outlandish statements out there about the problem that they obviously know I have. They're providing this solution. Is your hair receding? Well, how did you see that?
How did you know?
How did you know? As a matter of fact, it is. Well, we can have it grow back in 2 weeks. Just drink this serum.
The TikTok videos. Yeah, ever since TikTok Shop started, man, the number of things that are recommended that I never even thought I wanted.
Oh, bro. You know me from the past. I've got so many late night purchases on Facebook going through there. TikTok, it's way worse. It is so bad. Those guys, that algorithm has me freaking pegged.
Dialed
Software,
in.
Boom.
Dialed in.
Oh, you want better lighting? Oh, you want to hold your phone like this? Oh, I'm getting you care about your health, because I guess being 50, I'm now kind of paying a little bit more attention to what I'm ingesting. Mm-hmm. So obviously that's on the radar. Mm-hmm. I get all the old guy exercise things. Oh, you want to exercise in a chair?
So I do. Actually, funny you should ask.
I don't want to go run around the block.
This is way easier.
So how does they address my problem, right? Mm-hmm. I'm a lazy ass, but I know I need to work out. Right? Yeah. Here's a solution, Mario. Buy our $5.99 a month chair workout.
Right.
And don't think I haven't bought it, Jimmy.
I believe that you have.
Think I've used it?
No. Yeah.
Not once.
No. Did it even come out of the box yet?
I've got the yoga. No, it's just a software. Oh, it's just software. Right? Just, it's just
not even a product.
It's not, the product is
something you could look up on YouTube probably if you really wanted to.
Yeah, but
then you'd have to search. But you'd have to go do something.
They got the system, the reminders, and here's the exercise, here's the time.
Sounds like it's working.
Well, it's working as far as like getting me thinking about it and understanding what I should be doing.
Hey, that's a step in the right direction.
I still need somebody to smack me upside the head. I mean, physically, that'd be a good service. Somebody needs to come over and shake your ass out of bed in the morning. Go work out and not stop until you're working out. That's a true solution.
That is a true solution. Yeah, and one thing that I feel like we did for a while was creating content just for the sake of creating content, right? Without direction, and it was good reps. You know what I mean? But
I feel much more comfortable now because of all just generic ass conversations that we had,
bullshit videos that we made. But it was good because it gets the the marbles out of your mouth too. And but I mean, I guess something's always better than nothing. The number of people who know what we do because of the amount of content that's pushed throughout my social platforms and our social platforms, you know what I mean? That it'd be very easy to forget about us or forget what we do, or, without that going out consistently. So it's not necessarily a bad thing.
And I'm surprised at how many people I run into. They're like, tell me like, oh, I saw your content.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. All the time.
All the time. Right. Like people I would never guess that it comes across as, that they don't maybe engage with it or like it or whatever else, but I hear daily almost. So the longevity, which is kind of the problem for people who are trying to get into this. And that's why, again, we've learned to recommend the podcast strategy.
Right.
It's just so much easier to do.
So much easier.
So much easier. Hey, but you'll be proud of me. I'm getting a lot better using my phone.
There you go.
I mean, doing a lot of the videos that you were doing before, trying to get me to do that. I was like, all right, I'll get to it. Well, I finally got into it.
There you go.
So, but to be able to mix in those kind of off the cuff, real, candid, little short videos from your phone, mixed in with some professional stuff like this.
Right.
This is a winning combination.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's one or the other. I think it's both. All of it. And then plus even, I don't even argue, the more pointed, targeted other videos that we do, which is honing in on the true solution, right? Like the explainer videos, right? Yeah. That are just almost scripted, teleprompted out. But the way that you get those seen is by consistently being out there. And then when you do post something like that, then it's a lot more impactful to your business. So
getting back to where this conversation started, I mean, it's really great if you can start, your conversations like this is really talking about the problem, right?
Yeah.
You agree?
Yeah.
Regardless of what portion it is, the solution to their problem. Here's your problem. Right. Here's what we're doing on this video to explain. We're going to explain the solution here. So, the better job you can do at every stage, it's going to be easier for your sales team to close deals.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And if you're the sales team, last thing you want to do is go through and re-explain everything.
Right.
Right. I mean, am I accurate with that?
100%.
So that's really what your marketing should be doing, is not only building awareness, right?
Yeah.
But also kind of already talking people off the explaining process of what you can provide at a high level.
Well, how great of a sales conversation is it when they're coming to you, telling you about how your solution is going to fix their problem, as opposed to you explaining it to them or selling that to them. That's a great conversation to have. And
I think that's what every person in business and sales wants, right? If you have a business, you have a sales team, or if you're we all want the referrals because they already know what solution we're bringing to the table.
Right.
The person who referred us already told them. So they're coming to us. Yeah, I want you for this.
Right.
Okay. When are you ready to get going? Tomorrow. Great. Let's sign you up and get going.
Right.
And that's really the really big benefit from referral marketing that we all love versus the cold marketing, which is the challenge of making good organic marketing content to get people to that point.
Right. Yeah.
And that's finally really resonated with me, in addition to, kind of understanding the software path and all the different infrastructure, the digital infrastructure that's necessary, and what works with what works with what part. Whereas before I was trying to understand how to make video, and then also understand the software and how does this work together, and then the conversion process. I feel like that's kind of gelled for me finally.
Awesome.
9 years later, brother.
That's it. All right. We about ready to wrap up. Where are we at on time here?
We're about 14 minutes in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're not doing too bad. Okay. So
I thought we were longer, but
that's it. Seems like it. So let's just spend a couple more minutes talking about the sales process. Okay. So what do you recommend? Arguably, I would say that your biggest strength is sales and understanding that psychology behind sales. And I would argue that you're definitely one of the best salespeople I've run into. You really can talk to people's, their problem, I guess. Mm-hmm. How would you explain what you do in the sales when you get a sales call?
So I think it comes down to like a methodology, and first and foremost, asking questions, right? And understanding and being able to guide a conversation through questions is something that I would say is a skill that I've worked on over time, and I continue to work on. But beyond that, it's being able to, anytime you can take something complicated and make it seem simple. Okay, I heard that at a conference, and this was early on in my sales career, that taking something that's incredibly complex and making it seem simple is a true art form. And I feel like that's something that I've really focused on as I've sold some very complex solutions, in, whether it's here or in other jobs that I've had, before we were partnered up. And that's, I would say that is the key to success is not overdoing it, not over explaining, not overselling, not over.
Guilty.
Yeah.
Guilty.
Not over speaking.
Guilty.
Yeah. But anytime you can take something that's complicated, make it seem simple, right? You are going to have a much easier sale and a much more valuable customer over time than than feature puking, right? Which is, I think, like the tough thing, like when you're walking people through some of these IULs and stuff like that, there's some very complex programs, realistically.
But there's a time to get in the weeds.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And that's what
absolutely.
I've got to learn to differentiate.
Absolutely.
I've got to really learn at which meeting I'm in and keep it at a super high level.
Right.
And that is an absolute art, as you said.
Yeah.
Right. To not overwhelm them during that overwhelm them at the next meeting when they're prepared to be overwhelmed.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree 100%.
So it's tricky. So I don't know. And again, hopefully the marketing that I'm providing, the email, hopefully that can alleviate some of that, but I don't know. Well, I don't know how much of it they actually watch, to be honest with you.
It's okay to give, especially when you're talking about someone's money, stuff like that, right? To give someone a lot of information. I think it's when there's too much information at one time, which is the benefit of sort of these drip campaigns and these educational campaigns and with social media marketing and stuff like that, is that it gives you the ability to drip information over time in very consumable and bite-sized pieces. Because then you can give someone a lot of information, but not all at once.
I really wonder, with this, you saying that little consumable bites. I was watching a video earlier from a teacher who was and as an elementary school teacher that was explaining the big problem that they're running into at a very young level. Is the inability of kids to be able to consume information for long periods of time. Long period of time being 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. It's like their attention span is only geared anymore, is trained. Their brain is trained for those bite-sized nuggets you're referring to right there. And if it's starting at a young age, what's that going to develop into as they become adults?
Yeah.
Fast forward 20, 30 years when they are the client that people are trying to pitch to. I mean, they're going to have to even more so do what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because before my generation, we were okay with being bored more so than the kids.
Yeah.
Right. We could read through a whole newspaper article.
Right.
Type of like these kids not. Okay. There's a 30-second blast of information. Boom. Okay. Now Batman. Oh, now this, now that.
Right. Well, I mean, if you're waiting for something or whatever, I mean, how often do you look at your phone? If let's say you're in the waiting room at a doctor, you have a 2-minute wait, right?
Bro,
you're going to be on your phone the entire time.
If I sit down to wait for a beer to be delivered, I'm like, let's check it out. I definitely get super bored, and I'm not okay with it. After the boredom sets the anxiety.
Yeah.
Right? Because I want to be distracted.
Mm-hmm. That's right. And but at the same time, I mean, even on some of the videos and stuff that I watch, I mean, if it's over, like I feel like I like personally, like when I'm on TikTok or whatever, I like the videos to be usually more than a minute in most cases, right? As long as they're not just drawing it out. But I don't like the ones that are like 5 minutes, for example, unless it's something really awesome, right? Which is usually not the case, right? This is bored time that you're, scrolling through things. So, but the if they're too short, it gets on my nerves, right? But if they're too long, it kind of does too, right? Unless it's just something that's fantastic, which is rare.
So what's the problem we're addressing here?
Attention span?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, solution being little bite-sized nuggets.
Yeah, that's right.
And so being intentional with your content, in small little chunks, right? So like this, we're going to cut out this little piece of this video specific to attention span detail, attention to detail, on attention, recognizing, I guess, the problem of attention span that people don't have.
Yeah.
Right? Means you better jump topics in small little bite-sized chunks, right?
Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's very rare that I have the time even to sit down and watch a whole long form podcast, right? But if I can take little pieces of it, I feel like I pretty much watched the whole thing, like, you see, watching, Joe Rogan clips or whatever, even if I've seen a bunch of clips of a certain guest, for example, if then I go back and watch the whole thing, I'm like, no, I pretty much saw everything in there. I got all the highlights already. I didn't need to go watch this.
It's interesting. The only time I can watch long form personally is if I'm doing something else. So I'm distracted.
Yes.
And that's kind of in the background.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. I'm on a long walk. I'll put on a podcast.
Right.
So even then my mind is wandering.
Yeah.
So the psychology behind, marketing moving forward, it's just going to get trickier and trickier. But at the end of the day, I think you'd agree with this. Reps. You need lots of content. Don't stop the reps.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it being caught up and being perfect.
Yeah.
Really start focusing on your messaging, focusing on drilling on the problem, making sure you're coming to the table talking to any video about a problem and a solution.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where it's at. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, 100%.
So, that's the main takeaway here. So, that might be a good jump off point for, we can, dive a little deeper into the sales side and other, because we could talk for hours.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
but we could do a follow-up to this one.
So anyway, good to jump back on the camera with you, bro.
Yeah.
And that's it, fellas.
All right.